Good Tuesday evening, Tallahassee. We are here on September 19th, 2017. Welcome to our edition of FSU Weather. I'm meteorologist Jay Karstens.
I'm student meteorologist Megan Berry.
And here we are today, another hot and sunny one. You've been kind of seeing the stagnant weather pattern settling into our region for over the last few days or so. We'll have the full forecast later on for you guys and seeing if things are going to change in time for that football game. But how exactly are you feeling out there with those 90-degree temperatures this late in September?
Way too hot. I couldn't even make it to my class across campus without being drenched in sweat when I got there.
Exactly. We have a lot more to talk about with the show as well, in addition to our forecast. The main focus being Category 5 Hurricane Maria, which you and I are going to go into detail on a little bit, really actually in just a couple of minutes here, and then I will dive in depth over in the lab later on in tonight's show. But barreling down on the Caribbean islands right now.
Yeah, well, it's the peak of hurricane season,
Exactly.
So this is what we should expect. We got to be prepared. We got to keep tracking these things as they come. And, talk about them is very important.
And the way things are setting up out in the Pacific Ocean with the potential La Nina setting in, which I'll talk about later on in the week here, we could be looking at a pretty active end of the hurricane season as well as some potential impacts for us in the winter. But that's way out in the future. For now, Megan, you have a little overview of what's to
we're
come.
going to go ahead and take a look at an overview of weather this week in Tallahassee and the surrounding regions. Currently, we're sitting at 86 degrees. Mostly cloudy out there today. Our dew point's at 74, and we had a 10-mile-an-hour wind today, but it was very, very hot outside. We're cooling down a little bit tonight. Lows are going to be about 72, but we were up in the 90s today, so we are very hot. As we can see in the region, look at these temperatures, 91 Tallahassee, 95 in Bainbridge, Mariana at 93. So in those 90s, it is very, very hot in the Big Bend region today. Our local radar is showing us we had some pop-up showers, nothing that really crossed over Tallahassee, giving us any rain to cool us off, but St. Mark's had a little bit there with that on the water. Tonight's forecast looking pretty good. 72, it's going to be a cloudy evening, so it's going to start cooling down a little bit too, thankfully, because those 90-degree temperatures are way too hot for me. And we're looking at some calm mile-an-hour winds tonight, so nothing too much. Our weather headlines, it's almost fall. On Friday, it will be officially fall, but those hot temperatures are here to stay. Afternoon showers this week, and we're going to be tracking the tropics, but, this is important. As we talk about these things, it's relevant to think about it is hurricane season. We do need to be prepared, and Maria is just something that I don't think anyone really expected to intensify to a Category 5.
Yeah, intensification was expected, even though it's kind of following the same path as Irma and Jose, or just after that. But this went from a Category 1 to a Category 5 storm in about a day's time, which is rather unheard of.
Yeah, the Atlantic water is just so warm, and it's the time of year where these things can just develop so quickly.
Exactly. We're just past the peak of the season. The technical peak of hurricane season is considered to be September 10th. Here we are just 9 days after that. With regards to Maria, it made landfall last night in the island of Dominica in the Lesser Antilles as a Category 5 hurricane with 160-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds, and the devastation there was nothing short of heartbreaking.
Yeah, unspeakable. The Prime Minister actually released a statement on the devastation saying it's more than money can fix, and the roof was ripped off of his house. Luckily, he was saved, but a lot of others weren't so lucky.
Yeah, the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, released a statement on Facebook right after he was rescued. And he's really, the real focus of it, obviously, was not necessarily the damage to structures, but his concern about the safety of the people of Dominica. He's been asking for helicopter rescue help from some other countries, some of the nearby ones, as well as, obviously the United States and other allied nations. And Maria, unfortunately, as it marches towards Puerto Rico, is only strengthening.
Yeah, and I know that the U.S. has some territory down there, the Virgin Islands, so U.S. is keeping track of that too, just hopefully trying to get as many people out of there, as many people to safety as they can. These hurricanes are very devastating, especially for those islands surrounded by water, and they can't get resources as quickly as us Floridians can when it comes to things like Irma. Exactly.
Around stateside, we're not too concerned about Maria yet, although we do have a little bit to worry about with Jose in terms of potential tropical storm force conditions up in the northeast. For now, let's focus on things back locally. Sammy Squires is out at the wall with a more detailed look at our forecast.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, so not much is going on right now in our area, just a few pop-up showers throughout the day. Our current temperatures are sitting around 86 degrees in Tallahassee, 91 all the way in Mariana, and Wilma being about 92. So it was pretty toasty out today. Our sailing forecast for tomorrow is showing waves around 1 to 2 feet. Pretty calm, actually. Excuse me. The wind will be 5 to 10 knots, and the sunrise will be around 7:25 a.m. So if you're expecting to go out to the beach, The surf is going to be around 1 foot or less, wind 5 miles per hour on the sand, and the water is going to be around 82 degrees. Expect high tide around 2:40 in the afternoon. Tonight's forecast, it will be 72 degrees, partly cloudy, a very calm evening for us, and a little bit chillier too. Tomorrow's forecast, it will be 92 degrees, much like today, 30% chance of rain. Showers will be possible in the afternoon, but the wind will be calm just like today as well. And our 7-day forecast consists of pretty mild nights and temperatures around low 90s and high 80s throughout the week. Saturday and Friday, we're going to have more chances of showers. As you can see, the temperature will go down to 88 degrees, all the way into 86 by next Tuesday. So we will be having a pretty calm week, it seems to be. Next, we're going to take it to Jake over in the lab.
All right, thanks a lot, Sammy. As we talked about earlier, I'm going to be in the lab here breaking down Hurricane Maria just a little bit more. Here we are at the current satellite view courtesy of GOES 16 imagery. This data is preliminary and non-operational, but man, doesn't really show the detail of this hurricane. You see these these convective bursts on the southeastern quadrant of the storm as this continues its slow northwestward march through the Lesser Antilles towards Puerto Rico and eventually skirting north of Hispaniola here, only continuing to strengthen. Maximum sustained winds on this thing are now 165 miles per hour as measured by aircraft reconnaissance earlier, and that's what I'm going to show you guys next here. Is the aircraft recon mission flown by the Air Force plane right here. You can't really see it right here, but at the last advisory we were talking about a minimum pressure of about 920 millibars, and this recon mission has now found a surface pressure of 913. As an alternative measure of intensity as compared to wind, this shows continued strengthening of the storm. The lower the pressure, the more intensity you eventually expect this storm to become. These tighter pressure gradients, as we call them, essentially contribute to faster wind speeds, and that is why we have this just insane wind. Not quite as much as Irma, thankfully, but a 165 versus a 185, unfortunately, really doesn't make much of a difference here. With regards to Puerto Rico, that's our next area of major concern, and here is a bit of a radar look. The National Weather Service has an office in San Juan, and therefore you can actually get the radar imagery directly from there, and you can begin to see some of this more intense banding from Irma moving towards St. Croix Island to St. Thomas. The northwestern parts of the Lesser Antilles really starting to feel the wrath of Maria here. And again, San Juan being the most populated area of Puerto Rico, but we were talking about millions of people in these affected areas by the storm, again, continuing to slowly march to the northwest here. And a direct landfall in Puerto Rico is possible tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow. So what I wanted to do here is show you the forecast cone for Maria. This is as of 5 p.m. from the National Hurricane Center, and here is the center of the storm. Hurricane force winds not nearly extending as far out as they did with Hurricane Irma. However, with islands these small, any kind of direct impact is going to be nothing short of catastrophic, unfortunately. Hurricane warnings going for most of the northern coast of the Dominican Republic on the island of Hispaniola, with tropical storm warnings extending to the Haiti-Dominican Republic border. Over the next couple of days, we're going to be looking at this moving to the northwest, like I've said before. The eastern Bahamas is really what we're looking at for the next impact, with hurricane watches out. But Florida, rest assured, this doesn't look like it's going to be a bad scenario for any of us here. We don't look to see much of an effect, if at all, from this hurricane. It's going to begin to slowly weaken back below major status by the end of the weekend. Again, going to need to keep an eye on that as we move into next week for potential skirting of the United States East Coast. But for now, we're going to go back over to the desk where Megan and Sammy are standing by.
All right, thank you so much, Jake, for that look at Maria. A lot of helpful information there for people watching. We're going to kind of take things back to a while ago. This day in weather history, we had a lot of interesting things happen. On September 19th, 50-something years ago, we had 3 tornadoes hit North Carolina.
They were F1, so nothing too severe, but it's definitely significant to talk about for today.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced a tornado yourself? I mean, I know Florida doesn't get too many, but...
I'm actually from Cleveland, Ohio, so I have experienced a tornado before. Actually, what got me interested in weather in the first place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Those are like something that you can't prepare too much for. I know you just go in a closed room with no windows, make sure, something like that.
And there's also a lot of water spouts that go over Lake Erie. Speaking of water spouts, there's one sighted in Georgia.
Yeah, water spout side near Georgia. That's interesting too. But we're gonna go ahead and take a look at things locally in Tallahassee today. So we have a lot of interesting weather to talk about. Speaking of interesting events in weather, I took this picture last Saturday of a shelf cloud that was actually spotted outside of my apartment. We can see this distinct line right here. This is a shelf cloud. This is at the beginning and the end of thunderstorms. Behind this, we had a lot of severe weather. As you guys remember on Saturday, that football game was canceled because of those afternoon storms. So just a cool picture here to talk about. But currently in Tallahassee, like I said, it's 86. It's mostly cloudy outside. Thankfully, that sun was blaring today, causing those 90-degree temperatures. I was sweating. I know everyone else on campus was too. It was not a nice scent out there today. Dew points at 74. We have that 10-mile-an-hour wind, though, not enough to cool me off, but 10 mile an hour, not too bad. Currently in the region, we see all those 90s, upper 80s in the region, 91 Bainbridge, 87 down by the water, just a little bit cooler with that sea breeze, 81 in St. Mark's, 86 in Perry, so just a pretty similar story throughout the region. Our satellite and radar showing us there's not too much activity to talk about. We do see some pop-up showers down here near Carabel, just a little bit over Tallahassee with that cloud coverage, but no rain in our region right now. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our evening planner. If you guys are out there later tonight around 7, it's going to be a nice evening. It's going to be about 83, so just perfect weather just for a tank top and some shorts, your flip-flops if you're walking to the library or to a party or to campus, whatever you got going on, because around 10, 3 hours later, it's still going to be very nice out. Still partly cloudy. Around midnight, when you head home from the library, it's still going to be a calm evening, so we're just looking at a really nice evening overall for your evening plans. Tonight's forecast is going to be 72, like I just said, partly cloudy, calm winds, so nothing too severe out there. So just a really, really nice, serene evening all around. Go ahead and take a look at tomorrow, 92 again. Those 90s are here to stay for a bit. Fall is approaching, but those temperatures are staying consistent with those hot 90-degree temperatures. Showers possible, though. Not going to cool us off too much, just going to get us hot and wet, nothing us Floridians aren't used to. That 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, though, accompanying those afternoon showers. Our 5-day, going ahead and taking a look at that as well. Wednesday, no chance of rain there, but the 90s going to be here to stay. Low 72s. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, look at that. Chances of rain every day. Luckily, just 20s and 30s, so most likely afternoon storms just going to brush over us, give us a little bit of moisture, and then leave. 72s are lows. Those are going to be late night lows, so nothing that we can use to for our advantage during the day when they're cold. But that's what we got going on for our 5-day forecast. We are going to go ahead and talk about what's going on with this earthquake that just happened in Mexico. Very severe impact that it had with a lot of the people living there.
Yeah, the earthquake was south of Mexico City, around central Mexico, and it was a 7.1, so which is very big magnitude. It happened around 2 p.m. in Mexico, and unfortunately, it did kill dozens of people, and buildings were toppling over. I mean, there was a lot of damage.
I know that a hint of irony in the story is that they actually tested the earthquake alarm signal this morning at 11 before this earthquake struck. So luckily they were prepared and they did warn people of this, and they had an efficient system set up to let people know.
Yeah, earthquakes are common around that region especially. That's why they do provide with those warnings. But yeah, it was very interesting. The earthquake lasted about 20 seconds. And people said that the magnitude felt like it kept increasing throughout those 20 seconds.
Wow, yeah, I know you kind of just feel a little vibration at first and then it hits you all at once, but 20 seconds is a very long time for an earthquake to hit. You know, that's enough time for buildings to topple down on top of people, and not enough time for some people to leave the buildings once they're in them.
Yeah, definitely. I know that the president ordered evacuations of hospitals that had damage to them.
Yeah.
So the patients can get out safely, hopefully be not injured or anything throughout the earthquake.
One thing with this severe weather that, you know, all of the southeast region has been experiencing is the infrastructure that takes us years to create is just destroyed in a matter of, you know, seconds or hours. So that's something that, you know, a lot of us have to take into account once we experience these natural disasters.
Yeah, we have been experiencing a lot of natural disasters lately. But hopefully everything will clear up soon.
Yeah, prayers out to those people in Mexico. I know that nothing has been easy for all of us here in Florida and Mexico experiencing all those disasters. But we are going to go ahead and send it back out to the wall.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Obviously, not really looking too good in terms of the hurricane situation, everything that just happened out in Mexico City. We actually have a spring-style severe weather day setting up in the northern plains as well. We'll dive into that a little bit later on. Start off with the current conditions nationally. We're sitting at 97 degrees in Dallas, Texas, really. You're seeing some thunderstorms popping up in the middle of the state. Not quite getting over to you over there in Lubbock, Lexi, but besides that, we have really hot temperatures really anywhere across the southeast. 90 degrees currently in Memphis, cooler temperatures up in the northwest. The satellite and radar is going to start to give some of that away. We have a marginal risk of severe weather in central Texas today, so a little bit north of San Antonio, a little bit west of the Dallas metro area as well, some of these more open areas of the state. This is really the big area we're looking at. You see this whole convective burst of cloudiness in Colorado and Kansas, pushing up to the north along this cold front. The big area of thunderstorms that we're watching is the Dakotas. North Dakota in particular, where tornado watch was just issued pretty recently. The water vapor is showing you a very similar picture. We've had plenty of upper level moisture in the Rocky Mountains moving into the central and northern plains really throughout the entirety of the afternoon, again ahead of this cold front. If you look over here, you also see Hurricane Jose. Some dry air kind of infiltrate over there, so disorganizing the storm just a little bit, although it's still packing a punch with 75-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds. Here's the current winds, and again, the plains being the real hot spot here for this. We're seeing maximum winds up to about 30 miles per hour in parts of Kansas, although they aren't really seeing too much in terms of thunderstorm activity. Again, the Dakotas is really the area we're going to be looking at as this watches and warnings diagram is going to really show you. We just had a tornado warning for Barnes County in North Dakota. That has just expired. Actually in a couple of minutes before I prepare for the segment here. Severe thunderstorm warning, if you really look closely, you can still see that in there. A tornado watch is in effect for tonight now for most of eastern South Dakota, North Dakota, as well as the northwestern portions of Minnesota. You also see a little bit of activity in northern Texas, a little bit northwest of the Dallas area. So again, that's the real main focus we have here tonight. For tonight, warm temperatures down south, 77 Dallas, 72 in Kansas City ahead of the front, and behind it, cooler temperatures. You see some 40s in the Rockies, 42 degrees in Billings. And tomorrow's forecast, that heat continues, the sunshine in Florida and really most of the southeast, 96 degrees in San Antonio, 89 Kansas City. And the sun even going up to the mid-Atlantic with a high of 88 degrees in Washington, D.C. Zooming back into the southeast now, we have Sammy.
Yeah, let's take a look at that southeast. So we have a few warnings going on right now, especially around the Florida area. So we have flood warnings issued around Orlando, about the mid-Florida, and there are a series of warnings out for rip current all around the coast, the East Coast Florida. And as you can see, we are sitting around 86 degrees over in Tallahassee and 87 down in Miami. Very warm temperatures we are experiencing right now, and all the way up into 90 in Little Rock. So very consistent around our southeast area. In the last 24 hours, Tallahassee has changed about 5 degrees colder, but we also have New Orleans also changed 5 degrees, and Montgomery didn't change at all. So we have been very consistent throughout our southeast area. Our current winds are around 10 miles per hour. You could see a kind of a circular motion all the way up to 12 in Shreveport and a low of 6 in Montgomery and 3 over in Savannah actually. The radar is showing not much around our area right now, but we have some cloud coverage and some storms that may come our way, but nothing you should be too concerned about to come. Our UV index is showing it to be very strong over in Miami, a little bit not as much over in Tallahassee, but especially if you are going down to the beach, make sure you have your sunscreen. I know that I need it especially. The heat index is showing it around 97 in Miami, 94 in Tallahassee. So that is what it feels like. So it is quite warmer than what our temperature is right now. Tonight, we will be sitting around 71 degrees, a little bit colder than our high of the day, all the way in 69 in Atlanta. So we're even getting into the 60s, but over in Key West, it will be about 80. So a very cool night for our southeast area. Tomorrow's forecast, we will be sitting around 91 in Tallahassee and 91 in Miami as well. But if you take a look at New Orleans, Little Rock, you will also be in the 90s there as well. Let's take a look at the shelf cloud again. That's what just passed through us this past weekend. But for now, I'm going to go back to the desk, and we're going to talk about
some things that you can do in Tallahassee and current things going on at FSU because, you know, it's the beginning of the year. We might have some freshmen watching or those who have friends that watch that might want to know what's going on in Tallahassee. So obviously something that's a staple of our school is our football team. So we got to talk about football.
Yes. Finally, we are getting in a football game. I know I already bought my tickets. Did you buy yours?
I haven't yet, but I got to get around to it because I don't want to miss out. I know all my friends are going to go, and it's our first home game.
Yes.
We had a lot of delays, but we're looking forward to a good game. I believe we're playing NC State.
Yes, we are.
And I'm not too much of a sports girl, but I think that it's going to be a pretty good game. I know that we've had some teams that have beat us, some that have
Alabama, which is very good.
Yeah, that was a good game.
It's sad we will be without DeAndre. But,
yeah, it is sad that he's going to be out for the rest of the year. But football is always something fun if you can get around to a game. I highly recommend it. Our stadium is awesome. Our team is awesome. And the environment is just great.
Yeah. Also, we have a volleyball game coming up on Friday. I know I'm going to that as well.
Oh, is it?
I enjoy sports.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, absolutely. That's going to be awesome.
That's another event you could go to.
Yeah, definitely. And then this week, the SLC, Student Life Center, is showing Wonder Woman in their movie theater for free. If you have a friend that doesn't go here, it's only $2 for them to come with you. So, got to go out and watch that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a lot of great things about it.
Yeah, definitely. I have not seen it either, but I'd like to. Maybe I should head down there too.
Yeah, let's go together.
Okay.
All right. So, other things to do on campus, just to let you guys know, we have a bowling alley, Crenshaw Lanes, that's in the student union. You can always go bowl a game. If you're going to go with me, I will beat you because I'm really good at bowling.
That's okay. I don't have that.
Yeah. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and send it back out to the wall. Okay, actually, we're going to keep it here with just a couple more things to do. We're having some technical difficulties out there at the wall, but we have some other stuff I can talk about. On campus, we have the bowling alley, as I was saying. That's something to do. We also have the Student Life Center that has a gaming lounge where you can go play games with your friends. They offer a variety of different games, old-fashioned and new. There's competitions going on there weekly. They have trivia, and they show different movies every week. So we're going to go ahead and send it out to the wall. Now we're ready.
It's actually you that's going on to the wall.
Yes, it is me out at the wall today. We have another picture that I took. It was a sunny, beautiful day. This is a picture that I took as I was walking into Love Building. You can see all the weather equipment up here, but you can also see that sun peeking out behind the building. It was just a beautiful day. Looking out from the air conditioning room, it was beautiful, but out there, if you were probably sweating. As I had already mentioned, it was very hot. Currently, we're sitting at 86 degrees. Dew points at 74. It's mostly cloudy out there. As the night continues, it's going to stay calm. The clouds are here to stay, though. And that 10-mile-an-hour wind is going to stay as well. Satellite and radar, like I said, not too much going on. We have some cloud coverage up here near Mariana and Carabel, having a little bit of a pop-up shower down there by the water, but really nothing affecting Tallahassee. Thankfully, we got a break from all that moisture we were feeling last week. But those afternoon showers are here to stay this week. Nothing tonight, though, luckily. And if you're a golfer, go ahead and take a look at our golf index for tomorrow. Oh, this is Tuesday, but this is actually for tomorrow. It's going to be a 3 out of a 5, so we're sitting right smack dab in the middle of our scale. Not perfect, not ideal. It's just fine out there. Chance of showers in the afternoon, as I mentioned. Best conditions for golfing are in the morning before those showers, and before that heat has a chance to take its toll on you if you're out there on the field. Get out there in the morning. We're going to take a look at tonight's forecast. It's going to be 72, partly cloudy. It's going to be a calm evening, so go ahead and make some plans. It's a Tuesday night, so Don't get too crazy, but if you want to go study or maybe go to your friend's house, it's going to be a perfect evening for that. Also, to open up those windows and enjoy that cool air as fall approaches. Tomorrow's outlook, 92, 30% chance of rain. After 2 o'clock, those showers become more and more likely, so if you have any morning classes, you should be fine to not pack that umbrella. But anything in the afternoon, I do recommend packing that umbrella to stay dry. Showers are possible, and we're looking at a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we got the same icon here, that sun peeking out behind those clouds. Thursday and Friday, we see 30 and 40% chance of rain. 92 and 90 are those highs, and 72 consistent Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with our lows. Icon just continues all throughout the week with that sun peeking out. Those rain chances are here to stay. Only 20% throughout the weekend, though, and Saturday, here's our football game with 30%. Hopefully, that doesn't ruin the game, but we're looking like we're having a pretty average Florida week, nothing too exciting. We're going to go ahead and send it back to the desk. Me and Sammy are going to wrap things up. It was a good show. I think that we talked about a lot of interesting things, and our weather looking pretty good, pretty average for us Floridians.
Yeah, definitely very average for us, but there are a lot of current events happening, especially in weather right now.
Yeah.
So the earthquake, the hurricanes, Maria, Jose, definitely a lot of severe things happening.
Yeah, I know that the news station here actually just did a report on people who might become interested in meteorology because of all the events that have been happening, inspiring the youth to get interested in weather and its importance.
Yeah, definitely. It will not affect us for the next few years, but especially children. It does spark interest. I don't know if you had interest like that too.
Yeah, I do. I feel like a lot of people that are interested in weather have that one thing that sparked their interest in it. You know, with you it was the tornadoes. Some of my friends it was the hurricanes that came through Florida. So, I mean, there are just small silver linings to these things that happen where people can study them and better understand them and become more aware of them as they happen.
Yeah, definitely. And even earthquakes as well. I mean, 7.1 magnitude. That's very intense.
So from all of us at FSU Weather, we hope anyone that knows someone or that has gone through any disaster that has occurred in the past weeks recovers quickly and doesn't have too much damage to their property and their surrounding cities, etc.
Yeah, definitely. So it has been a very nice week, and it will be a nice week for us to come too.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like a perfect week, but it looks like something that we could definitely get used to. I mean, that's typical Florida weather right there. I am mostly excited about that Saturday football game, but that 30% chance of rain, I don't know. And go ahead and follow us, like us. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU Weather. We are on Twitter, twitter.com/FSU Weather. We're tweeting. We have trivia, we have updates on severe weather, and we will let you know every time we have a show or an event.
Yeah, definitely.
So go ahead and follow us on social media. We are pretty active out there, and we have an Instagram page as well. I know that I'm probably going to post those pictures we talked about tonight if you want to go ahead and give those a like.
Cool.
All right, well, from all of us at FSU Weather, have a great Tuesday night. I'm student meteorologist Megan Berry.
And I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.